Fuck all that. I hate black people shit you was talking.
Did I ever say I hate black people?
You hate your own people.
Alright.
That's exactly what you said.
No, what I said was a lot of us, not all of us, need to take some responsibility. Me included. We all need to. The class you had, the financial class, I don't think it was enough people there. I think a lot of people show interest, but when it's time to really put your foot on the ground, no.
So how many people would have been enough?
I don't have an exact number, but I would have liked to see.
We had 12. How many would have been enough?
Me personally, I think a line should have been out the door.
Why?
Ain't nobody performing.
One's enough. Most schools.
Yeah, you get one.
I think that's the point though. If somebody's performing, then people line up around the corner. But when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, financial empowerment, something that we all really need to be invested in as a community, right? We're probably further behind than any other community. It's people who come here from other countries who can't even speak the language, who only got the shirt on their back, and they put more energy and effort into trying to get ahead than some people who've been here since, you know, day one in this country.
Then I bet you if we would have had Susie Orman here, or what's my man name? Dr. Boyce Watkins. If he was here, line would have been out the door.
I don't think so. Here's the thing.
Why you don't think so?
Because me personally, I'd rather see us. That's somebody that's on TV that's done what?
What I'm saying is, you know Boyce Watkins?
Yes.
All right. Listen, he's popular, right? He's got notoriety. So that's the nature of people, not just our people, any people. If I know who you are, you have a little bit of fame and celebrity to you, then you're going to get a whole lot more response because of your notoriety. There is no notoriety here. Like, we just regular people from our community. And even in our community, we have people that are more popular than others. So, out of all the videos I did, you know, outside of the Shabib Muhammad one, the most watched one was BJ's interview.
And I watched that.
You watched it, but you know why a lot of people watch it?
Because we can see, we can touch him. We can see he's here. You can call him right now. I mean, yeah, like he's here.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's also because we like him. Because look, you can touch Keith. Everybody know him. Everybody know me. They're not going to tune in to our stuff as much as him because he's more popular and well liked by everyone around here than we are. So it's not just the content. So okay, we got good content. So we have great content, but at the same time, they're not just coming for content. You have to lure people in with something popular.
He does make a very valid point, right? You got to have a brand, right? Like it's all about having a brand, right? So, like me personally, I'm kind of on the ground level in terms of trying to develop my brand. Coming here and doing this event, even however big or small, is an opportunity for me to build my brand, right? So Dr. Boyce Watkins wasn't always a brand, right? But he figured out a way to brand himself, and now he's looked at as one of the leaders in the community from a financial empowerment and education standpoint. So he's been able to build this platform. I think he's got something like 125,000 followers on Instagram or something like that. He's been on CNN. He's been on like different news programs. He does the All Black National Convention. So there's something to be said about the way he's positioned himself for people to consider him an authority on the issue. You know what I mean? And so just think about it from C's perspective. If Boyce Watkins is here, Susie Orman is here, somebody who has that type of cachet, just think about his ability to market the program from that standpoint, saying like, yo, look who I got. Like I was able to get this person who's, you know what I'm saying, a recognizable figure to come here, and then people will see that and be like, yo, he pulls strings and he got somebody in here who's, you know, he has a solidified platform, excuse me. So we're more willing to go invest our time and going to figure out what he's talking about. Whereas a person like me who's just really on the ground level trying to build my brand, maybe 2 years from now, I might have that cachet. Maybe like, yo, so-and-so speaking, you know what I'm saying? While I'm speaking at this event, or he holding a seminar, or he's doing even a webinar online or something like that, and you'll get more people to sign up. So you do got to build up some brand equity in order to get people. Some people don't know how important it is. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how important it is until somebody who they think is important tells them how important it is.
Exactly, but why does it always have to come from somebody that's up here already?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I swore, and remember when I came here actually early because I thought it started at, and when I got here, there was nobody here. When I pulled up, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody here.
Just
but that was just my fault. No.
The day of the event.
The day of the event.
Right.
So, just my first look, like, damn, nobody.
Right.
My thing, as long as one person show up, that's all you need. Somebody that's there that's going to listen and learn.
I get that from.
Why?
All right, put it this way. Like a dude that like wild out when he was younger, maybe did some time, came home trying to talk to people. If he's talking to 50,000 people,
right.
If he saves one person, absolutely it was worth it. That one life is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But this.
So that event, if one person come here, learn, and apply what they learn, it's success. It's the same as that guy talking to 50,000 kids.
No, but I'm saying why. My question the whole time was why, and a lot of our people it's the same.
A lot of people, they may didn't come because they want to see it work for somebody else first before they go to anything like that.
The title says what it is. It's like, all right, if you know you're screwing up with your money,
Right.
and C's been promoting this the whole time, why not go?
All right, for instance, my man did good with the cryptocurrency, right? The Bitcoin, Litecoin, all that. He did good with it. So me, I'm like, all right, it ain't gonna last forever, so I'm not gonna get into it. He got up to like 90,000. I still didn't get into it. I wanted to see if he was gonna keep that cash and build some more money before I got into it. So now people say, all right, I'm not gonna go to no class, no seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go to the shop to see CJ and ask him, did it work for him? And if it worked for him, then the next one I'll come to. So most probably people looked at it like that. I mean, I say that's what we do. We see if it worked for somebody else, and then we gonna do it. Like you probably you different from everybody else. You probably like, nah, I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah, and you can't expect everybody to really look at, like, everybody's situation is different.
Right.
So I got something out of it, and I'm gonna try and work it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But my whole complaint with everything is just like, why isn't it more? Like that's like, I just always think when it's something that helps us, that it's like not as much interest in it.
You might have some money to. All right, for instance, you said the financial stocks and all that. You might have some money to play around with stocks. Other people don't.
True, but here's the thing.
Why you're not here to learn? Because they don't have the money to play around with stocks.
No. I'm not saying not because you don't need money to do the stocks.
Well,
I'm saying
everybody don't know that.
That's my point exactly. Why don't you want to come learn
Some
that?
people don't want to learn.
And that's where he was saying, I was saying, I hate everybody. That's what I was getting at.
Some people don't want to learn.
Some people just don't want to learn.
Some people stuck where they at.
Yeah, it's not even about them not wanting to learn, right? They want to know that, like, all right, come in here. We talk about.
Is it beneficial?
We're talking about we talk about investments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about it, making an investment, right? You make an investment. The goal is to get a return on your investment, right? Some type of surplus. More than what you invested, right? So people want to know, all right, if I go out of my way and come here to the barber shop, is it going to be worth my time? Am I going, you know what I mean? Am I really going to be able to get anything out of it? Out of curiosity, I think that's what you're saying. Just the curiosity should pique your interest, saying like, look, it's about financial growth. If you're not in the position that you want to be financially, then you need to just show up, and whether you might get something, maybe you don't get.
It was free.
It's hit and miss, right? And it's a free event. Not only is it free, it's free refreshments being served and those types of things, and you never know what type of gem you might get out of something like that. Exactly. So yeah, there should be a greater level of curiosity. There should be a greater level of motivation when it comes to trying to figure out, okay, is this beneficial? It might be beneficial. Let me just go check it out. A lot of people don't know how bad they're doing either. You know what I'm saying? Some people think that they're getting to the bag, but when it really comes to, all right, am I really developing wealth? Is my risk management set up properly? Those types of things that they maybe don't necessarily take into consideration because it was never something that they learned about or knew about on that degree. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there was some things when I was talking about when I was giving my presentation that people may not necessarily have even really took into consideration. It wasn't necessarily on their radar. You know what I mean? So if it's not on your radar, you don't even know that you have the degree of, you know what I mean, shortcomings in those areas. Mm-hmm. So you gotta first know. So my goal is, as a financial coach, is I want to make people understand where their shortcomings are, right? I want you to understand that you might think you're doing good, but you can always be doing better. Mm-hmm. And even if you're not making $100,000 a year or whatever the case may be, you can still try to figure out ways to better your situation. It's like, just for a quick example, when I talked about taking your deductible on your auto insurance and hiking it up, right? So let's say you take your auto insurance, let's say you're paying $100 a month, let's just say, right? And you take your deductible, you hike it up, boom, you get that extra $25 a month back, right? So over a year, what's that? Around $300 or something like that. So now you got $300 more that you can invest. Right? So you got to reallocate that $25. It's not just I saved $25, so now I can go spend it on something else. So those little things that may not seem like a big deal, but if you could save an extra, let's say you just took $200 out of that $300, and you could save that extra every year. When we talked about the compound interest over time, that's a little thing that's going to help you grow. And some people just not aware of that. They're not, but like you said, there do need to be a greater degree of curiosity.
Or they came to a seminar before like this, like the one we had, and didn't see no benefit of it.
Right.
Just because you want to see 100,000 people lined up outside, right around the corner, it's alright. But you can't put everybody in the same box.
It starts with 12 people, right? I was happy we got 12.
I say start with one. If one person come here and learn.
That's what I'm saying. Just this one, because we had 12. Mm-hmm. If we get one person, we got more than one. Because out of that, you ended up saying, I'm going to do something different. Tarana said she's going to take his class. I did, even me. And I'm hosting the thing, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the class too, to the other class. So, ain't no telling who else was watching, doing the thing. And then now, once you edit the video, you upload it, you don't know who's going to come from that either. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. Like, you can't just be like, man, black people ain't shit, man. You don't want to be interested. Like, why would they? If you don't know me, or you don't trust me, why would you be interested? For me, that's why on the flyer I put on here, we're not selling multi-level marketing. We're not asking you to do something.
Right.
Else.
We're not trying to sell anything.
Yeah, I'm not selling nothing because back in the day I used to go to them things. And then every single time somebody tried to get me signed up for something. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I'm not doing that. I just want some information.
Yeah. But, to go off that, because what I think most people don't really understand the definition of investment. Like, it's not something Monday you do something and Wednesday. And I think that's what everybody, like me kind of included, like, personally, that class, now I understand I'm not going to make, no money tomorrow, but I'm looking at it as how quick can I, but I'm not expecting 2 days. I'm not even looking at it a month because I just think that eventually I can make something. Mm-hmm. So I think, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people think that it's going to happen like instant when, never.
Yeah. Well, what we got to do as a community in general, right, is stress foundational principles. You know what I mean? So, and if you don't have a good foundation, I don't care how beautiful your home is, right? You build a home, it can be nice, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, all of that. If the foundation is shitty, you know what I mean, the house could go, you know, at any minute, you know what I mean? So we got to start building foundational knowledge, foundational principles around how we treat certain things. So it could be this class, it could be education, you know what I mean, how we approach education. It could be some of the things that we see in popular culture that we think are fun and, you know what I'm saying, it's entertaining, but is it really good for us? You know what I mean? Are there some fundamental flaws there? Because if there's some fundamental flaws there, all right, yeah, there might be a handful of people who's getting to the bag in the rap game, but how many people are they influencing to do things that they probably shouldn't be doing? So yeah, he might be getting to the bag, but that young, impressionable, let's say 16-year-old who listens to this music and be like, oh man, he's successful, he did it this way, X, Y, and Z. Well, now I'm gonna see if I can do it the same way. Most of them people, you know, most of them young people are gonna end up finding themselves victim to the game or whatever the case may be. They just don't have the foundational principles that says, you know, fast money ain't what it always is. You know what I mean? Even if you get into the stocks, it might not be a month before you make your first couple of grand or whatever the case may be, right? The fast money, and you know, we see that in our neighborhoods, right? I mean, we gotta be real, right? We see that in our neighborhoods. We see the dudes. The reason why a lot of these younger dudes and females look up to some of these older dudes in the community is because they see it right there in front of them. I see Buddy with a wad of money in his pocket. You know what I mean? And he might be doing X, Y, and Z, but I see the results right there in front of me. And when you're talking about playing the long game, when it comes to investing and when it comes to the day-to-day helping your kids with their homework or, you know what I mean, things like that, it's not fun, it's not exciting, it's not sensational. There's nothing glorifying about it. You know what I mean? It's hard work, it's tedious, it's boring sometimes. But you gotta just chip away piece by piece, right? So that foundational, there's something missing in the foundation of what's going on in the community that I think need to be rectified.
Well, that was the whole point of doing. You don't know, you piss me off. We have, like most people know, I need a checking account, I need a savings account. Mm-hmm. They don't know nothing after that.
Right.
They might know, they understand nowadays because it's popular to flip houses and stuff now, right? So you'll say, all right, I want to get into selling real estate, I'm going to flip some houses. Mm-hmm. But you don't really know the first move to take in doing that. Mm-hmm. Or if you say, I want to get into selling stocks, they don't know how to get to that point. And then the problem is, you follow these people on social media and stuff, and they do the interviews and they give information out. But then when you go get the information, then they want you to sign up for some class that they're doing that's going to cost 6 racks or something. You know what I mean? They're going to cost you $6 grand to get the info, and you might not got the 6,000 just to get the information.
Right.
And that's the first part. Nobody gives away free information. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They'll do a video, you do a YouTube video or an Instagram post, and it's just something to tease you into buying something. Mm-hmm. Or to show off on you. Mm-hmm. And then you're left right in that same bag like, well damn, well how am I actually supposed to get there? Mm-hmm. And that was the whole point of doing the class was, all right, well we can do it, you give some information out, and we record it, and then we can give the information for free. Right. Like to a bigger audience, you know what I mean?
But here's the thing with that. So you saying that was actually, that's kind of what that was, because what's his name?
Who? Dennis?
Dennis. Mm-hmm. He basically said, take this, come see me. If you don't have the money to take that, go see him. Yeah. Now, that's how I just put that together. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, again, it's just the interest that I think it was just lacking. Like I said, I got something out. I think a lot more people would have got something out of it if, people was there. And maybe a lot more people will see it when you post it. But I just think, like, if you would have been on there saying something else, who, whatever, I don't know, you having a party, I don't know. I think then.
Why does it have to be a whole lot of people?
Why do you think that about your people?
Right,
you think that if I would have said, we having a party, a bunch of people would have came here, they wouldn't came in for no party either.
How many people used to come here when you used to get the fight?
Not that many.
Not more than 12.
Not more than 12 people.
I came here where it was, when one time and it was packed.
It That was like a Floyd fight. What we had, 15 people? So you was mad? We had
I wasn't mad. It was just
12 instead of 15.
No, I'm not mad. I just think this shit.
You were disappointed.
But why should it be more?
You know, maybe I don't have it. I just don't think like a lot of people have interest in stuff that will benefit them.
They might not.
But that's why we're
But you
talking.
can't get mad about. But you should be mad at your pew because they don't have the interest in that. Now you should bring. Now you should give them some awareness about it. Then.
And that's what that was.
No, but you walked out of the situation, man.
Everybody might not
You
have
walked
seen
out disappointed, man. Our people, man, they don't want nothing.
No, I'm not saying our people. I'm just
You
saying.
did say our people.
No, I said a lot of people.
I do understand where his frustration comes from because I think this one event that he's kind of zeroing in on is a microcosm. You know, it's just a smaller thing amongst a bigger narrative. You know what I mean? And I think what he's doing is he's trying to use a smaller event to speak to a larger narrative or a larger, you know what I mean? And it's like, if we're just going to talk about the specific event, you know, how many people really saw the post, how, you know what I mean? How, you know, and that's, I even asked you when we got here, what was the level of feedback that you got?
And it was jumping.
Right.
It wasn't jumping.
No, Facebook.
Facebook wasn't jumping.
I've seen a lot of people talking about
A
it.
lot of people talked about it.
Yeah.
But I just figured.
So
they
if
won't.
20 people talked about it, we got 12.
That's great.
That's good, bro. On a small level, that's really good.
Yeah, you know, part of it.
30, 40 people here?
I want 1,000. I want a lot of people.
It's
Because
unrealistic though. People have families
You know,
and things in that nature too. That they have to take care of their family.
and that's why he doesn't say on Facebook, I'm doing something tomorrow. He's been talking about this. I was gone.
Stuff happens, man. Stuff happens. People got.
We're going to do it again.
I was late because I was doing something. I mean, I had to do something. I was late. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I you know what I'm saying, I do sympathize with his wanting more from the community. I think we all do.
Absolutely.
We all do.
Wanna,
yeah.
we all want to be great for the community.
Right, and I think y'all feel like he's placing blame, like, or like.
See, that's why I wanted Dennis here so I can rip him.
Right.
Because he's going to place the blame on specifically black people.
Right.
And that's what I heard you did. So that's why I'm here. I came to rip you, but you said you wasn't going to do it. So
Nah, because you're listening to C one come in here and say, I said every black person. He was right here. I said a lot of black people. It's just like you can't, like I said, you can never say it's all people, but a lot of us.
All of us are messed up.
Man, that's what I was saying. But C had you thinking, like I said, every black person.
That's what I came to rip you. That's a fact.
Well, it's a delicate balance we gotta walk, right? Because I think we all could agree that the community needs a higher degree of accountability, right? Like there's a certain level of accountability that's lacking, and so you don't want to cast a net that just put everybody under it and being like, oh, you know, because it's not. I mean, there's plenty of black people that's doing real well in this country. There's plenty of black people in the community who are thriving.
People want to see if it's going to work, though.
Yeah, and what do we respect? Just like I was just talking about the maybe the younger people in certain neighborhoods who see homeboy who got the nice car, he got the pretty shorty, he got money in his pocket. They see that. Do an old school term back in there. But but they see that, and so we respect that. We respect when we see somebody who we can see for sure is getting to the bag, so to speak. And so that's why we want to listen to that person. Yeah. So just like we talked about the other people who have notoriety, we know that they're on, they've been doing it, they're, you know what I mean? So we're going to listen to them. Maybe somebody like myself or somebody who is more of a local person who runs their own business, even C who runs his own business, we can't see C's bottom line, you know what I mean? He's not, you know what I mean? So we're like, all right, he might be doing all right, but if we don't see him driving around some flashier type of car or something like that, we may not necessarily respect it. And that might be one of the shortcomings that we have, where we only respect it if we see somebody who's kind of being flashy or who's got the nice chain or who's got the Mercedes Benz, and we do need to kind of get away from that. You know what I mean? I posted.
I think we are. I think we are, because I don't. Well, from the stuff that I see and people that I hear from, I think a lot of people is getting away from that.
Mhm.
I mean, from maybe because of people that I'm around, maybe because it's older, getting older, but I don't see people hear people talking about I need me a Benz or BMW. Like I was growing up, that's what I said. I wanted me a nice fancy car.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think because times is changing,
Mhm.
they know they looking at it like, man, I'm BMW, that oil change like $300.
I had to be one, man. It
Yeah,
was a joke.
But that's the thing again, where you don't understand investment. Because why do you want to see it right now? Why are you not looking maybe a year from now or
All right.
2 years from
I'm that person. I want to see it. If I can't see it right now, I want to show me this. I want to see the steps on when I'm going to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's not promised.
True.
If I invest in something right now, is this going to be able to get back to my family? If not, I want to invest in it.
But that's the thing. That's the whole point of having education.
But that's why I came to the.
That's why I came.
That's why I came.
So,
Yeah.
like, people need. All right. So, what's the foundation for that? Like, the first principles that people need to know, as far as savings.
Well, kind of like I talked about a couple weeks ago, right? So you have to have the idea that you're going to delay some gratification, right? There's going to be some delayed gratification, right? Because, if you're 30 years old, you're not going to retire for another 30, 35 years, God willing. So when you're saving 15, maybe 20% of your salary to go towards retirement, you got to be able to reconcile that with, all right, I'm not going to have that 20% to use it right now on whatever vacation I want to go on or whatever the case may be. And so I talk about making stuff automatic. Once you make it automatic, hopefully it's out of sight, out of mind, and you just deal with what's left in the pot right there. So then what you got to do from there is like, anybody who's going to be wealthy, right, got to have multiple streams of income.
Right.
So you got to figure out what's another hustle that you can have other than your main job. Because, median income is what, 56 grand or something like that, you know what I mean? And in the black community, it's even lower. So it's like, how can I find that next hustle, or how can I get my credentials up where my market value goes up? But one thing I want to touch on that I think is really important is life insurance, right? Life insurance is proven to be one of the easiest ways and one of the most lucrative ways to pass wealth on from yourself to the next generation, your kids, your nieces, nephews, whoever you want to pass it on to, right? So the idea of life insurance, first of all, it's a tough subject, right? Because we're talking about death, right? But we all gonna die, right? So, it just is what it is. And life insurance, I even had this conversation with my wife. I told her she's got to get some life insurance, right? I need to get life insurance. I have some, I need to get more. She's like, I don't want to get no life insurance, you know what I mean? Like, I see these crazy shows where people kill their spouses for the money and this, that, and the third, but more so, I think the thought process is, I'm not going to benefit from that. I will never see the benefit of that life insurance policy I pay into for my life. I'm going to pay into it, and I will never see a true return for myself, right? The return will be to my kids or my wife, my spouse, or whoever, right? That idea, I think, is not attractive to a lot of people. You know what I mean? And to say it, but in our community, we want to say, how can I get what I can get? You know what I mean? And like, I'm not so much worried about, like he kind of just said, tomorrow's not promised. I kind of want to invest in myself a little bit more while I'm here. I would rather take that $25 a month or whatever it is and use it towards something that I want. But you have to have a certain level of selflessness to say, I'm going to pay this $25 a month until I'm 95 years old or until I'm dead, and this money will never benefit me. You know what I mean? But I know that my kids, the peace of mind that I have is that my kids
you got
will
kids,
be fine.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah, you don't have any kids. Do you have nieces and nephews?
Yeah.
Why not? You still transferring wealth to somebody that means something to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't have to be a kid. It could be, I could set up, so let me just give you this example right here. So he kind of asked me basically what the foundational principles, right? Having some selflessness, delaying some gratification, right? And being disciplined and understand, yeah, sure, tomorrow's not promised, but as long as I'm breathing, I'm gonna assume to a certain degree that it is, right? So I need to be prepared for it. But like me, right? I got 4 kids. I got 4 boys, right? So I have college savings plans. We talked about the 529 plans last week. So I got college savings plans set up for them, right? Me being selfless, and I'm not, I don't buy material stuff like that. So, my money just kind of, if I don't invest it or whatever, it's kind of just there if I need it. But what I can do is, I'll just assume that my 4 sons are gonna have 2 kids each, right? So I'm just gonna assume that, right? So that's 8 kids, right? When I get my tax return in January, I can open up 8 529 plans, take $800 out, right, of my tax return, which is relatively significant because I have 4 kids, right, and open up 8 529 plans. So my oldest son is 8 years old, right? He won't go to college for another 10 years, right? He probably, if he's like me, I had my first kid at 24. Let's say he has his first kid at 24. So that's 16 years before he even has his first kid. If I just leave that $100 in there alone, that's 16 years worth of growth on $100, right? Then if he has his first kid at 24, like I did, let's say, then there's 18 additional years of growth from my grandkid after that on just that same $100. That's just not even assuming that you put more money in along the way, which is what you're going to do, right? So now you're talking about 30 plus years of compound interest, dividends, so on and so forth. And that's just for me being a little selfless, taking $800 and saying, I'm gonna go open those accounts. And now they're open. All I gotta do is put some money in there when I feel like it, or when my son gets of age, he'll start putting, when he has his first kid, he'll start putting money in there. You know what I mean? It's already set up for him. So just, being a little selfless and playing the long game. You know what I mean? Wealth is a long game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that was the main reason why I'm big on the stock market, is because when you said like picking up a side hustle, right? Like what most of us do, we either look for a second job, but that second job takes away from your time. They only pay you for so much, and then your time is worth more than that, right? Or we go drive some Uber, like I was doing. I was driving Uber and Lyft. After I said, this is bullshit, because same thing, for my time, it wasn't worth the money.
Right.
Every once in a while, if I'm free and it's cool, but I can't stay up all day and night. I gotta go to my regular job the next day, right? So we do that. Or somebody want to go put some work in the street or some shit, or we gamble, we buy lottery tickets. The thing is, if you invest your money in the market, right, even when you sleep, you're going to be earning interest on your money. Now, the thing that me and Darnell was learning at the other class that we about to take is actually how to pinpoint changes and fluctuations in the market before they happen or as they happen. So then, whatever your savings is, because what we always would do, all right, I'm putting $100 a month or $100 a week into my 401k or my IRA or whatever, and then I'm just letting it sit there. Dude is teaching us then, he's like, look, no, you can even manipulate that pot that you had, that savings account that you have set to the side, you can manipulate that to make sure that continues to grow too. And the whole thing is, you got to get people to a point where they're not scared to because most people are scared when they hear stock market.
Yeah,
First thing they say, oh, well, can I lose my money? But the reality is, you can make money, and you can make money when the stock goes up. You can make money when the stock goes down. If you don't know that, you don't know.
Right.
But what I was saying about Darnell is like, like it's good to get the information, but once the information's out there, people they don't know they're in the matrix. You know what I mean? Like Morpheus came to Neo, Neo had no idea what a matrix was or anything. So you can't expect them to leave the matrix to come get the information from you. You know what I mean? You have to kind of give it to them and tell them. You have to inform them, yo man, your counterparts are doing way better than you, and this is why. Like I didn't know that growing up, because my family didn't have. I come from a good family. I didn't have no college savings for me. I didn't have, nobody has, I don't think nobody in my family has life insurance. Well, I'm not that they don't have it. I'm not a beneficiary of anybody's life insurance. You know what I mean? And, you know, they didn't teach me any of these things. Not because they don't know. They make good money and come from a good, but like in our community, the goal is always go buy a house. You know what I mean? You start thinking, yo, I'm doing good. Yo, think about when you meet a woman, right? And a woman says, like, yeah, I'm doing good for myself. I got a job, I got a house. Like, that's wealth to us. And that ain't shit. You got some debt.
Right.
You know, and owning real estate is a good thing depending on what market you're in. You know, and that's why I wanted people to know that. It's like, man, you know, that's not something to brag about. You know what I mean? And I don't think, you know, for us, we shouldn't just look at our people like, oh man, you ain't shit because you ain't no. Not saying that's what you're doing, but that's what Dennis do. You know what I mean?
That's what you're doing, bro.
Nah, well, and real quick, I think he would be more justified in his frustration if those 12 people who showed up, if they really needed the knowledge that I was offering or Will was offering, or, you know, and they didn't take the next step. So it is frustrating that it wasn't more people there, but for a preliminary event, you know, hopefully we'll do this again going forward. I get more frustrated when I see somebody who I know needs the help, but just decides that they're not gonna, you know what I mean? They'd rather spend their money on a bag or some gym shoes or something like that, when it's like, you probably could have took that money and invested. So you're gonna get some free information, but we live in a society where everybody's gotta make a living too, right? So I love to give out as much free information as I can, but my goal is to make a living. Plus, I also feel like if you don't invest something, you're not going to take it serious. I've had that problem. I've done pro bono work with my homeboys where I took them on as clients and they just didn't care because they didn't have no skin in the game. Yeah. So it's a delicate line that we walk in, and we live in a society. You talk about people be like, yeah, I got this house, I'm doing good. You know, black people are coming from the bottom, right? From, you know, slavery just ended slavery just ended 150 years ago. We've been at a deficit from an informational standpoint, from a familial foundational standpoint, from education, finance, all of that. We came from negative, and we're still trying to figure it out. But we got to be cognizant of that, right? We have to acknowledge that. We can't think that we're doing okay because we bought that house or because we're making a certain dollar amount, because let's be real about it. Resources equal influence. The people who really influence policy, politics, all of that stuff is people who got the resources. And so we need more resources, and then we got to pool our resources together as, you know, to create more influence. You understand what I'm saying? I'll ask you this. All right, so we could be critical, just like C kind of asked me, what do I think are, you know, financial foundational principles and what you need to focus on. What do you think we need to focus on from a communal standpoint, aside from just the event that we did a couple of weeks, to kind of make sure you're not being cast in the light as just being critical about the community? How can, maybe where you see some progress and where we need to kind of accelerate the progress and how we would do that?
I mean, that can come from basically home, because I mean, how many people growing up in, one parent homes? So I mean, that's just, that could start there. But how to fix that, I don't know. But I mean, I grew up in a one parent home. But I mean, I lived with my mom, but my dad was in my life. So I mean, I had both of my parents.
Right.
But not knocking nothing that my mom did, but my mom really didn't show me like how to spend money. So she, told me stuff here and there, but I mean, I still mess up with money once in a while. I mean, a lot. But how do you fix that? I don't know. So to like, where you think we should start? I don't have the answer.
But if when did you realize that you were messing up money?
Still mess up money now.
No. When you first like when you first got out on your own, how long did it take you to realize like I'm messing up my money? I'm telling you, because think about when you first when you hit the street on your own and your parents don't really give you no information on how to navigate the world, you just living life the way you think it is. So when did you realize, damn, I'm doing this wrong, I need to go get some information?
Last month.
You get my point?
I get your point, but I can't really
that's
say
why
like
I say you can't be critical on people for not coming to get the information if they don't know they're doing something wrong.
Right.
He said that earlier.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like when I got my first apartment, right? I was 17, bro. I was 17. I had a car payment, and I didn't know nothing about anything. I just had to move. I got a place, and then I didn't even know what day of the month the rent was due. You know what I mean? I didn't know like if I paid, like I paid the security deposit. I was like, well, does it start 30 days from that day or 30, like does that count for next month? Like I didn't know nothing. And then once I figured it out, I'm like, damn, I gotta work more. I start working more. Then that's what makes you become interested in, all right, I gotta start growing up. I gotta be mature in that. But if you're living in a house, with your parents or with a boyfriend or girlfriend or something, and you don't really know, if you don't have any bills, you don't have any kids, then what will make you want to be responsible? That's why I think you can't be critical. Like everybody is at their own pace in life, and nobody's giving black people information. Mm-hmm. Like if I go on my YouTube feed has a whole bunch of rap shit, whole bunch of world star videos and stuff, and it's got financial stuff. But that's because I go looking for those things, so it's going to show me those things. But ask the average 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 30-year-old, if you're not actively looking for those things, then the world isn't going to show you those things. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yeah.
Coming to my people, man. Are you in this community, like, out and doing stuff for the community?
No, I'm not.
That's another thing.
No, but I don't want to say I wouldn't. See, like if somebody, huh?
I didn't know you was gonna say no. You were. I thought you do stuff. You don't do nothing.
Like what?
I don't do anything. I don't know.
No, I don't.
Why not?
So, that's another thing. So you can't get mad. If you want people to come out, we could put that footwork and groundwork in.
No, I'm not like a broadcaster.
Yeah. So you can't get mad.
Broadcasting, but do you like what? Like you don't have to tell people you do it, but like, do you do anything? Like you give charity, you
coach rec basketball,
nah.
Talk to kids.
I don't.
How can you get mad at the people that you don't even deal with?
Yo, why do y'all keep saying I got mad? Look, this was my.
You said you got mad. You said you was mad. It wasn't enough people here.
Yeah. Right. So why is it? What my question was? Why is it like that? And I said that was my question.
Now, you said why wasn't there more people here?
Yes. My question, not so.
Just cause he put the flyer out. He may put the flyer. I may put the flyer out. Our people, some of the people that we put the flyer out made it come. Would you repost it? Put the flyer out?
No.
Well, real talk though. To be fair, I put it up on my social media. Nobody I knew came.
Bro, I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I had people. I had 10, 12 shares when I put it up on Facebook.
If I put it up, nobody's gonna. You know what? Nobody's gonna pay attention to me because they don't see what I'm doing. Like nobody. Like I'm just like a small little person trying to navigate life just like everybody else. I don't put it this way. I don't have any influence. I don't have kids. Nope. Literally, if anybody that knows me just knows that I joke around a lot.
You go to the gym, right? Don't go to the gym?
Yeah, but
people in the gym, right?
Yeah.
That's influence.
Nah.
No, this is a good conversation now. Now we're gonna get into it. I want to know, right?
That's not influence.
No, I don't have any influence.
You go to the gym, you work out, you know people. You're a popular young man. You know a couple people, right?
Yeah.
You know a lot of people.
I don't know a lot of people. No, I don't.
You do.
So, alright, so listen, he shared it, nobody came from him. I shared it, nobody came from me. He shared it, people came from him. you didn't share, so you can't get mad at the people that came or didn't come because you didn't ever share the post.
No, this is what
He wasn't mad that he wasn't mad that his people didn't come. I wasn't mad that my people didn't come.
Well, man,
I'm not mad that my people didn't come. Would I have liked to see?
Right, you would like to see them come in. Yeah,
absolutely. Am I going to work on trying to figure out a way to get more people to come out to these events? Absolutely. But I think he kind of basically just answered his own question, which is what we already said, right? You said, why wasn't there more people here? And you're saying that you're not a person of influence, right? The people who were here aren't necessarily people of influence, at least not yet. You know what I mean? This goes back to the point C made earlier about whether he has Susie Orman here or Boyce Watkins. That's just the way people are wired, man. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily right. And I think it's a good thing to be critical because now you got to shed a light on it. That's why we're having this conversation.
You don't even have kids, right? So you have no kids. So, and you're from Pleasantville. You graduate from Pleasantville. You live in Pleasantville. Why don't you do anything in the community?
Honestly, I never found where I can fit in because I just don't know. Like, not that I don't want nobody thinking like I hate like anything. But I don't know where I would fit in. Like somebody can easily say, "Why don't you go coach?"
No, I don't blame you for not wanting to be viral with that.
Huh?
I don't blame you for not wanting to be viral with it. That shit is hard.
No, I mean, but I just said coach because that was just the first thing that came to my mind. But like, I'm gonna just show up and say, anybody need help? Like I don't know where or what, like how I fit in there.
All right, so.
But if somebody was to ask me, like, with most people, I don't know if you know Stacey Hamilton. Shit. All right, remember Ms. Lakins? Her dad hired Stacey. Stacey asked me to tutor kids at Mount Zion. This was a while ago, and I did that. But it just, eventually,
keep doing it?
Because that fell apart, and then she was just like, all right, well,
do it.
because I don't know how. Like, nobody asked me. Like if you ask,
people asked her, you asked.
No, that did. I mean, it just fizzled away. So it was just like, all right.
But you let it fizzle away. That's what.
No, I didn't let it fizzle away.
No, with tutoring like with computers and stuff.
Yeah,
you should do that because you're proficient in that.
Okay, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Teach kids how to network computers and stuff.
But I wouldn't mind. Like I don't want y'all thinking like, oh, this nigga don't do shit. He live here. Like
no, I'm not.
I've never been asked.
I just want to know.
I'm saying.
Well, I think actually what he get. I think the point he hitting on is it almost relates to the event we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Why didn't more people come out? Well, why aren't you doing more in the community? What you're saying is because you don't know, but kind of going back to the event, those people don't know. You don't know what you don't know. The problem is people need to figure out what they don't know. The person who knows what they don't know is going to get ahead because they're going to look for the information. Mm-hmm. C understands, he knows what he don't know when it comes to maybe certain investment strategies and stuff like that. That's why he's going to take the class. That's why you're going to take the class, because you've recognized something that you don't know. If it means something to you to be in a community, which, to the level of degree of that could be different for every person, then you'll go that extra step to say, Google charities in my neighborhood or, initiatives, that you can start by yourself. Like I had somebody, my homeboy that I grew up, his sister, real smart, she's business savvy, all of that. She just posted a couple days ago. If I started a programming class for like preteen teenagers, would people in Atlantic County, South Jersey area show up? And she just put it out there, just a regular old Facebook post, just to gauge the interest. Now you got a bunch of people on the post talking about, I'd bring my kid, you know what I mean? People sharing it, hopefully you're getting more engagement as people share it. So it just gotta be maybe something that means something to you, that you say, you know what? Maybe the financial literacy and you seeing this event and the way it went down might spark you to say, you know what? Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I can do something too, or something like that. But the point being, the people who didn't show up maybe don't know what they don't know. Until they know what they don't know, just like you didn't know you was messing up money in the beginning, and then you finally, the light bulb went off, then you figured out, I don't know. Now I know that I don't know. And so I'm going to go figure it out.
But here's the thing with that. most people, especially with money, they know they're screwing it up. Like,
Yeah, this is true.
how many people have one of these?
Yeah, this is true.
And then it'll say, I don't have money to, I don't know, eat, or maybe not eat, but, you know, a bill or something.
Yeah.
No, not really that. You know what? Like, take that. You bought your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Why'd you buy that? That was not a good investment.
Because I wanted it.
I know you wanted it. You got the money to do it, right? But see, that's why I don't like when people make those claims, because you know damn well can't nobody be walking around here with no LG Boost phone or some shit. Like, you need a phone nowadays, right? So if somebody's gonna buy a phone, they know they need to get an Apple phone or a good premium Android phone, right? If you want something good, right? Now you don't have to go pay the whole wad for the phone, because you can lease the phone nowadays. You don't like leasing, cool, we talked about that, right? But you can't be critical of someone who, all right, yeah, I have to go buy an iPhone, and you say, oh, you don't have no priorities. Well, how everybody gets on the internet through their phone now?
I just use the phone as an example. It could be whatever, sneaks. Somebody, I mean,
You need sneakers.
what
Hold on.
material?
Hold on. See, that's why I don't like when people. Now, I'm not meaning you, but just in general, right? When you was a kid, if you ain't had the right shit on in school, how would school have been for you?
Murderous. True.
So why? So you can't criticize people
Because
you know our culture.
Okay, that's the problem. Because now, like, yo,
That's what Dennis said.
no, shut up. Because
He did.
no, here's
He
the
said
thing.
our culture is the problem.
No, there are fundamental flaws in the culture. Like
That's every culture though.
Nah,
every
nah.
culture. See, and this is.
I don't think every culture cares
It's flaws.
about
No, no,
different
no.
material
Listen,
things. It's
It's
like
flaws.
something that you
No,
don't.
listen.
Listen.
No, what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
There's flaws in every culture.
Oh,
There are flaws in every culture, right? But some cultures can afford certain flaws that other cultures cannot afford. Black folks cannot afford to have reckless spending habits.
And
And
we
we have the
have that.
least amount of wealth of any other community. We can't afford it. You got to know where your weak spots are. Like, if you think about median income stats like that, right? Asian folks, not white folks, Asian folks actually had the highest median income. They have the lowest political one of the lowest political participation. They just decided that we live in a country that's capitalistic, resources equal influence. Yeah, my vote, yes, we should vote, we should engage in our civic duties, but if I become viable economically, I'm gonna have just as much influence as, if not more, than the person who goes to cast their ballot in every election. So, you know, we gotta be self-reflective and say, we can't do this. And our image has been tarnished for years as a black community, right? From outside of our control, right? You can go back to as long as we've been here and see the images that was portrayed about us, right? In the news, in advertising, whatever the case may be. So we're suffering a deficit from a perceptual standpoint. We can't afford to say, oh, but those folks over there is doing X, Y, and Z. Well, they have a perceptual surplus. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree, but the problem is you can't fix any of those things if we're already in a place of ignorance, right? So just take voting, because you mentioned voting, right? So most people, just the same way we approach home ownership, where you're just proud that you bought a damn house. Black people walk around proud that I cast my vote. Any vote. Now that would be a good thing if we lived in a system where every vote counted, right? Don't get me wrong, because somebody gonna watch this, they're gonna say, CJ saying don't vote. No, I do think you should vote. The problem is the popular vote doesn't determine the winner. So the last, well, not just this one, the last presidency and the first time I was able to vote was in 2000. And I was pissed because my vote didn't count. The guy who won the popular vote didn't become the president.
Well, from a presidential standpoint.
From a presidential
Right.
standpoint. So no, look, what I'm saying. So Because what you were saying was absolutely right. I've been saying that for years.
Mm-hmm.
If we did things in groups, and we practiced group economics, or we voted in groups, then we'd have more influence in the political sector and in every other sector, because we do things as a unit. We don't do things as a unit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's my whole point. We can't sit here and get upset at each other until we can learn how to work together as a group, and not like as one big ass group, but there might be a whole bunch of little small groups. You know what I mean? Like the Black Fathers group, the Black Mothers group, or you know, like and to prove that it's possible, just look at the gay community. They got the black gay groups, they got white gay groups, they got all gay groups, but they move together in a common interest and they get things done.
Right.
We don't have common interests as a whole people, because we sit around and then because we divide ourselves based on what this person belief is. I'm gonna agree with you because you know you like Nike, you know what I mean. I like Reebok, and then I find a reason now I'm not gonna cooperate with this person, and then you don't get nothing done that way. So that's the first part of it, is first having awareness. You gotta find a way to deal with people who aren't aware and may reject you for trying to make them aware. You can't get frustrated with them. That's what I'm saying. One of the best things, like you don't have to find a charity or nothing to go work in the community. You can take a kid from the high, and you know kids from the high, right?
No.
You do.
I don't.
Bro, you have friends that we all grew up with, that you probably graduated, that have kids that are in high school. Right? Yeah, you take a kid, check it out. You take a kid, you do something simple as this. Come to the gym with me every day. You go to the gym every single day. Right? Take the kid to the gym. While y'all working out, as he gets familiar with you and y'all get cool, now you start kicking shit in his ear. About savings, about programming, about women, whatever. That's bro, I only know shit I know from Daryl beating me down with it every day in the barbershop. And I used to hate him for doing that shit. Like, man, I don't want to hear that bullshit. But when I get older now, I need that bullshit.
Yeah. Now, not saying that I wouldn't do that, because I don't mind doing that. But
Speak a kid.
like I said, I wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe my awareness wasn't there or whatever. Somebody, like I said, somebody had to ask me to tutor. Like, I wasn't just going to say like, hey, I would like to tutor, because I don't know. Like, the only thing I know, I just know computers, so I don't know like anything else. So I wouldn't mind doing something computers or the gym with somebody. But of course, beating something in somebody's head, especially like, I mean, you're saying this while you're doing it, but they still got to go home. Just like you said, you don't want to hear. So hopefully they're getting it from home too.
They're not getting it from home.
Yeah, well, what he's kind of talking about, I kind of deal with even as a basketball coach, right? So I'm coaching basketball. We get these kids for 6 hours a day. I do some substitute teaching, so I'm in the building. But you really only get to interact with the kid for a few minutes. Like outside of basketball season, you only really get to interact with them maybe a few minutes out the day. Maybe some kids you won't see the whole day on certain days, but they go home, and then it's a whole different thing. So I'm trying to mentor this kid. I'm trying to talk to this kid, but then when he gets home, it's different. So what we try to emphasize as a program as a whole is getting to the parent too. You know what I mean? You got to get to the parent. So now there's a level of accountability on both ends. And so like if, you know what I'm saying, if, you know, one of my JV players is not at practice, but, you know, we got this app where you can see the schedule. The parents can see it, the kids can see it, right? The parent might look in the app and be like, hold on, why you ain't at practice? You know what I mean? They got the information like, hold on, it say here you supposed to be at practice, why you ain't at practice? Or, you know, so that type of thing. So you definitely got to get to the parent. And I think the frustration is like the problem seems so big. It seemed like, how can, like, what the little bit I do, is it really going to make the difference that I really wanted to make? Like, no one person, like you talk about the groups, you got to get the groups that are working in concert, because no one person going to be able to wrap their arms around the whole situation. Yeah. And it's uncomfortable, you know, you got to have some uncomfortable conversations, you know.